Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the mid-October 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Gemini. Welcome, fellow Geminis. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you with any intuitive messages they receive, as well as the meaning of the tarot cards. I do, however, recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on for you this month. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you subscribe, that helps me greatly, and you'll be notified when I post new content. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. In column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close, so last few weeks or month. Column number 2, we're going to take a general look at what's happening for the remainder of October. We're also going to do a money column, a love column, and in the 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions, a crystal of the month, and a healing note for you. But again, going back to column number 1, what's wrapping up and coming to a close, we have the summary card of connection. This is really exciting. This is a new connection that's been developed in the last few weeks, Gemini. Connection is about being open and making a true human connection, listening, feeling, connecting in that sense. So some sort of new relationship here, and it could really be anything. It could be with an animal, it could be with a person, a love interest, a coworker. But let's see what messages we've got here. The first card we have is the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is solid, practical, and wise. This is all about sound thinking, and since this is again what's wrapping up and coming to a close, Gemini, this is something you've done a really good job of. This is also an indicator of an investment, so a sound investment for you. I think for many of you, made a very good investment these last few weeks or month as well. The next card we have is the Fool card. The Fool card is the first card in the Major Arcana. The Fool was fresh hope, taking chances. This is new paths, new adventures, new beginnings. So this is some sort of new undertaking or new opportunity or new beginning for you as well. At the bottom here, we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of commerce. So this is like growth of money, which I like to see. Potentially that could be associated with the Fool or the investment, or just in general that solid, practical, wise thinking. The Three of Wands can also be a card of expansion, so growing, again, developing a relationship, expanding investment portfolio, expanding your opportunities. This can also be a card of making travel plans as well. Let's go and see here, Gemini, what other messages we have. The first card we have is the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is a card of friendship, celebration, circle of support. In addition to kind of this very practical feeling, we're feeling well balanced by our support system at this time too. In terms of friends and that circle of support, though, that connection very well could have been with a new friend. And whatever this thing is, this investment for many of you, it will be worth celebrating. The next card we have is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is a surprise gift. And again, this could have been the investment. This could have been the new beginning that we didn't expect. This could be the new friendship or connection. But this all kind of came out about as in terms of a surprise. It was unexpected. And at the bottom here, we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is very self-sufficient and very honest. So in terms of the Three of Wands, with commerce, I will say in terms of money, we want to make sure that we're being very transparent. And again, this is kind of past tense of what's wrapping up. So I feel like that has already happened, but be very clear on things. Be very clear on travel plans as well. Okay, let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to just what's going to happen through the end of October. We have the card Influence. This is probably one of my favorite cards in this deck of oracle cards. Influence is nice for 2 reasons. It's a reminder for us to focus on the things that we can influence, and it's a reminder of how many things we have the ability to influence. So lots of influence going into the end of this month. The first card that we have is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card of reflection. This could be a surprise gift as well, but I feel like this is looking back so we can figure out how we want to move forward, Gemini. Definitely reflection here. Looking back on something is really what's sticking out strong here for me. The next card we have is the Six of Swords. I know the Six of Swords looks a little gloomy. Everyone's facing away from us. Their heads are hanging low. There's a bunch of swords stuck in the boat. But the boat is heading in a forward, positive direction. And this is about going through a necessary transition. So I'd anticipate you're going to be feeling some sort of transition, likely transition based on past experience. I get kind of a weird, heavy feeling in my stomach right now, and I don't know why that's happening, but it's like this reflection could be on something that hurt you, but then it's making you smarter in the future. But anyways, we'll clarify and see what comes of that. And in terms of right now, I feel like many of you are feeling kind of stuck, this kind of hangman, like stagnant energy. You're needing more information in this case. And I don't know, Gemini, if you're going to get the information that you're looking for, which is why you're having to reflect and use that to make your decision on how you're going to transition forward. Let me clarify this a little bit further. The first card we have is the Seven of Swords. I think this is what the pain in my stomach was coming from. It was kind of like an ow, that hurt, but I'm not sure why that pain was in my stomach, Gemini. That was interesting. But with the Seven of Swords, this is a card of theft, betrayal, dishonesty. This is being hurt, and if you look at this card, this person is moving away from it. Again, this is something past, but this past event is directing our decisions now, and that's not a bad thing. It's like you're using what you learned from this hurt in order to make a decision at this time. So keep that in mind. This transition that you're going through, this decision, this change is definitely being directed or guided by past experience. But the nice thing is if we turn pain into knowledge, we turn pain into experience, to kind of embrace that as we go through. The next card that we have is the Temperance card. The Temperance card is a card of balance and harmony. I'm so glad to see and feel this. This is such a major renewal of energy. But we are moving forward to something positive. We're not just transitioning, or we're not going from one not so good thing to another not so good thing. But this is like transition to peace and harmony. So I like to see that for you. And trust that your past experience and that your gut feeling is taking you to the right place. And at the bottom here, we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is a very romantic card. It's like Prince or Princess Charming, very proposal-like. With this, I feel like, again, you're not going to get the information that you need, but this is coming through more as a new opportunity. And it's kind of hard to put my finger on how these are connected, Gemini, not these two cards in general, but it's like, again, here, this is not having the information you need. You're going to use past experience to make the decision and make the transition. But it's like, even though you were waiting for this information, something new is coming into the picture anyways. So this becomes less relevant anyways. And that's, I guess, the best way I can explain that. Okay, let's move on to our next column, which is anything related to money. And let's see what we're working with here, Gemini. Okay, the first card we have is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is, again, that Prince or Princess Charming card. It's knight in shining armor, very romantic, very proposal-like. It seems like there is a new opportunity on the horizon for you. I just keep hearing potential, potential, potential. I will say, though, this the uneasy feeling in my stomach's coming back now, Gemini. There is like worry about this, though. You're like, okay, this looks good. This is like beautiful and it's everything I wanted. But there's a lot of concern and worry about this. Like I said, this Five of Pentacles is now kind of causing the stomach ache that I was just feeling. But it's like a feeling of angst or a feeling of worry associated with this. But it does look like we go after this new opportunity, this new proposal, because at the bottom here we have the Death card. Things are coming to an ending and a transformation is happening. This is like big changes. This is the indicator that it's time to move on, and the feeling in your stomach is that feeling of not knowing if it's time to move on, Gemini. But the Death card is telling us that. I always like to clarify too that the Death card doesn't actually mean death, but it does feel like there's going to be a new proposal coming in, and although we're hesitant and worried about it, it does look like we go after this new opportunity. The first clarifier we have is the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is a card of teamwork, collaboration, skill, and it's really like your hard work, your craftsmanship, and your skill that got you to this point of this new proposal. Collaboration is going to be really big as we talk through and almost negotiate this new proposal or this new position. Also, teamwork is going to be a big factor in this too. I don't know, some of you maybe are in leadership role or not like feeling part of a team right now, but it does seem like this new proposal with the Knight of Cups comes with a strong connection to teamwork. The next card that we have is the Judgment card. The Judgment card is a card of clarity. It's a final decision. But the nice thing about this is like you're going to get the clarity that you need before you have to make the decision. So you're going to be able to put this gut ache at ease, this worry at ease before you make the decision. Again, there's a lot of like collaboration and back and forth happening on this, so don't feel like you're going into it blind. And at the bottom here we have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a card of speed, action, quick change. So this change is coming fast. So just be kind of aware and be on your toes in that sense, Gemini. Okay, the next column we're taking a look at is love. This is anything related to family, friends, relationship, children, marriage, you name it, Gemini. The first card I have is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is a card of stress, exhaustion, having too many burdens. This doesn't necessarily, and I always like to point this out because sometimes cards just fall where they fall. It doesn't mean that your family is making you tired. It doesn't mean that your relationship is making you tired. This is really an internal reflection, Gemini, of just being tired. When we see this card, this person's carrying so many wands. They have so many burdens. They have so much going on right now. How could you not feel stressed and exhausted? So again, this doesn't mean it's being caused by family or caused by a relationship, but it is like almost a limitation or something very real that you need to look at and assess. But I do like when this card comes up solely for the fact as we can use this as a warning to be careful of getting to this point of burnout, Gemini. The next card that we have is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is a quick indicator. If you look at this card, both horse and rider are moving very fast. So this is a fast-paced change, which again, we like to see. Hopefully this is going to be a shift of energy because we just in general have very low energy. We have the Nine of Swords at the bottom, which is like burnt out. It's worried, stressed, exhausted. This person's sitting up in bed crying. Something is bothering them to that point. And again, this isn't family related necessarily. This is kind of just you, Gemini, feeling low at this point. But like I said, I really like the Knight of Swords in the middle, indicating that shift of energy. Let's see what else we've got going on here. Much more positive clarifiers, which hopefully will be a lift. The first card we have is the Six of Pentacles. This is a card of generosity. I feel like if you ask for help, you're going to be given help. So keep that in mind, especially be thinking in terms of leaning on family, friends, a loved one, Gemini. Like if you just like even tell people how you're feeling, you're going to then open yourself up for that support. The next card we have is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a card of like tradition and like kind of being stuck in that tradition, but this is also a card of expectation. So I think you're going to have the opportunity to switch up your routine, switch up the traditional day-to-day stuff, even reset expectations here very soon, which is again going to raise the energy and get us away from that Ten of Wands or Nine of Swords type energy. And at the bottom here we have the Ten of Pentacles. This is a card of retirement. You or somebody around you could be retiring in terms of family or friend. This is also a very long-term card. For those of you that are in a relationship, I feel like this is like for the long haul. This is safe, secure, supported. Again, the energy is very long-term there. So not a ton of love messages, but there are some sprinkled in that column, but mostly about you this month, Gemini. Okay, now let's take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. We have the card discernment. So if you take a look at this card, this person is surrounded by this vibrant green, these beautiful flowers. And with discernment, it's a reminder that we are the product of our environment. So we need to have a beautiful environment, Gemini. You are a product of the food you eat. You're a product of the exercise, the sleep you get, the people you surround yourselves with. Everything around us is influencing us. So we need to make what's around us as beautiful as possible, Gemini. Sometimes I like to throw that reminder out there, or the deck wanted to throw that reminder out there. But let's take a look at this fifth and final column. Again, we have the Six of Pentacles coming up, this card of generosity, giving or receiving help. If you need help, Gemini, ask for help. What I'm getting to is like if you just like even start to explain the situation to people or whatever you're feeling or going through, you don't even need to ask for help, but it's going to open the door for the support that you need. Again, we are what we surround ourselves with, so make sure you are surrounding yourself with people who are caring and supportive. The next card that we have is the Star card. The Star card is a card of renewal, hope, inner clarity. And this is great to see. We need a renewal of energy. We need a lifting of hope. We need to lift the spirits here. And I like that this is coming for you. So this is getting much more positive. But if you kind of look back at our last column of that burnout, we want to then look for something where it's a positive shift of energy. And this fifth and final column is saying it's coming. At the bottom here, we have the Magician, which is a card of turning visions into reality. At any point, Gemini, you can have whatever you want. You have the ability, you have the Magician on your side. But again, it's really important to remember our environment and that everything around us is affecting us and influencing us. So keep that environment really clean and healthy and vibrant as well. So that will help the Magician help you accomplish what you want. The first clarifier we have is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card of unexpected gifts. And again, I feel like if you just barely even crack the door open, Gemini, the support that you may need, or maybe don't even know that you need, but support will be there. So this is the kind of unexpected support and offerings. And so do keep that in mind. The next card that we have is the Five of Wands, and this is about the bumps in the road that's gotten us to this point. More than anything, this is about all that's going on and has happened to this point. But again, we're getting close to that star, which is that renewal of hope, that inner clarity, that shift for the more positive. We get to say goodbye to the bumpy road and get on the nice flat road again. And then at the bottom here, we have the Queen of Cups. This is a card of being healed, be supported, which I like to see. I always like this card too because if you take a look at the cup, it's not really a cup, it's more of a trophy. And Gemini, you're that trophy. That trophy is going to indicate success in anything that you want. The card being healed, nurtured, supported. Again, make sure you're getting those things from your environment that you surround yourself with. Okay, at this time we're going to take a look at our Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck, and you're going to have the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. If you don't have questions in mind, Gemini, you can pause the video and think of them. But for question number 1, we have the 4 of Diamonds. This is number 27 card. That's going to be a no. Question number 2 is the King of Hearts. This is number 24 card. That's going to be a yes. And question number 3 is the 7 of Clubs. This is number 20 card, so that's a yes. So no, yes, yes for you, Gemini. If you watched your video earlier this month, we pulled a card from our Healing Stones deck, which is a crystal to keep with you throughout the month of October. Your crystal this month is aventurine, which is good for meditation. Definitely we can use some meditation this month, Gemini. Introspective, gives you inner and outer peace, and gives you the ability to act and do in the right time. Last but not least, we're going to pull a card from our Healing Notes deck. Your healing note says, your ability to heal comes from knowing that you will heal. Thank you, Gemini, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. Again, subscriptions help me greatly, and you'll be notified when I post new content. Also, if you feel inclined to make a donation, I did include my Venmo in the comments box. Thank you so much, Gemini, and have a wonderful rest of your October.